Hi everyone. See, I came from this way this time. Okay, imaginary numbers. So we're talking about really operations with imaginary numbers here. So operations are going to range from FOILing, which is multiplication, to just simple adding and subtracting. Now dividing is a part of this too, but I'm going to make that in a second video. So let's do a couple of easy ones first. So number one here is operations with imaginary numbers with regards to two binomials and subtraction in the middle. Obviously, we know from polynomials that when we have a negative sign, it gets distributed to both terms on the right. Now again, if that was a plus sign, nothing would change. It would just be dropping the parentheses and adding like terms. So, but now I have the negative, so I have to distribute the -1, so multiplication. So the 7 plus 5i does not change on the left-hand side, but this becomes a -4, and this changes to a plus 4i. So now I'm just going to go ahead and simplify, being combined like terms. 7 minus 4 is 3. And 5i plus 4i is a positive 9i. Now, remember that the form has to be in a plus bi. Now, mathematically, algebraically, there isn't anything wrong from a context standpoint if it was switched because it's plus, but this is the preferred form. So on the test or quiz or on the construct response section specifically, please make sure that your final answer is in a plus bi form. Okay, so my final answer here is 3 plus 9i. Here, because we have to multiply, we got to be really, really careful. Because when I multiply two i's together, right, and I get I squared, please remember that that turns into -1, okay? So there is a correlation between the square root of -1, which is I, and I squared, which is -1. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But this is super, super important. I squared, whenever I multiply I times I, okay? So when it's I times I, it becomes I squared, which is -1. So really, really be careful about that. So let's go ahead and multiply the binomials. First times first is -15. Outer times outer is -12i. Inner times inner is plus 30i. And last times last will be a 24i squared. But remember what I said earlier. This 24i squared is going to turn into 24 times -1. So this is going to be rerouted to a -24. So let's go ahead and write that. So -15 minus 12i plus 30i minus 24. Now you're saying, why is it a minus? Well, because if I multiply a positive 24 times a -1, I'm going to get a -24 there. So now I'm going to combine like terms. -15 and -24 is -39. And -12i plus 30i is positive 18i. Okay, and again, the form is a plus bi. All right, so final answer there. Gonna give you two more to try, so please pause me after I change this and erase the board. So this one's a little funky. Just make sure that you double distribute. And this one, number 3, I would just multiply the -7 times -2i, right? And then it would go from there. So distribute again, all right? Hopefully you had a chance to pause me. Let's put some answers on the board. 98 plus 1, 12i, and 13 minus 9i. Hopefully you got them right. Let's go.